Okay, I'm going to resume the recessed April 26th delegation meeting, and I will recognize Representative Gottlieb for a motion, please.
I would like to withdraw my motion to defer action on a bond issue for the construction project at Sullivan County Health Center.
Okay, thank you, Representative Gottlieb, and I believe Representative Tanner, you made the second, right?
Yes, I will withdraw my second as well.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Okay, and it's also my intent, by the way, to take up the nursing home at a future meeting. We are, believe me, not done with this issue yet. But now it's on to the budget and other important stuff for tonight. Okay, I'd like to begin with welcome and introductions. So if you could go around the room and state your name, your members of the delegation, and then I will recognize the commissioners as well. So let's begin. Representative O'Hearn, please.
Representative O'Hearn, Ward 1, Sullivan 3.
Which way we headed, this way?
Yeah, go this way.
Sure,
Yeah, thank you, Representative O'Hearn.
Representative Stephen Smith, Sullivan 11, Ackworth, Charlestown, Goshen, Langdon, Lunchstream, Washington.
Representative Skip Rollins, District 6, Newport Unity.
Okay, let me see down at the other end, Representative Aaron, please.
Oh, okay. Representative Aaron, Sullivan County, District 7, that's Ackworth, Goshen, Langdon, Leominster, and Washington. Good evening.
Representative Spilsbury, Sullivan District 8, representing Charlestown.
Sue Gottling, Sullivan 2, representing Sunapee and Croydon.
Representative Linda Tanner, I'm in District 9. I represent Plainfield, Cornish, Croydon, Grantham, Springfield, Sunapee, Newport, and Unity.
Well then.
Representative Callum, Sullivan 6, Unity, and Newport.
Representative Walt Stapleton, Sullivan County District 5, Claremont Ward 3.
Brian Sullivan, Sullivan 1, representing Springfield, Grantham, Plainfield, and Cornish.
Okay, and we have two other members who are joining us remote. Representative Lee Oxingham, could you identify yourself? And it also has been brought to my attention, Representative Oxingham, that if you're participating remotely, it's all right to do so, but if you could state the reason why you are joining us remotely tonight.
Yes, Representative Oxum, also Sullivan District 1, Plainfield, Cornish, Springfield, and Grantham. And health concerns keep me from being in a room with people who are not vaccinated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Representative Merchant, if you are there and you can state why you are joining us remotely.
Thank you, Chair. Representative Gary Merchant from Sullivan County, District 4, Ward 2 in Claremont, and I am on the coast of Maine for a slight vacation. I've taken time to be a part of this meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. And I think speaking for all of us, we wish we could be joining you in Maine with today's weather. And right. You never know, Representative Gottlieb. Okay, again, I'm Representative John Cloutier, Sullivan County District 10, the entire city of Claremont, and I'm honored to be the chair of the delegation for this term. And now I'm going to turn it over for introductions to the chair of the Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Hebert, please, if you want to, you and your fellow commissioners introduce yourself and any of their county officials here in the room or employees.
Commissioner George Hebert.
Commissioner Nelson, Ben Nelson.
Commissioner Joe Osgood.
County Manager Derek Furland.
Any other county elected officials or employees here?
Sheriff John Simons.
Shanna Gibson, Registrar of Deeds.
Okay, thank you.
Dave Barry, Department of Corrections.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Barry Burke, Director of Facilities and Operations.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Ted Gray, Sullivan County Healthcare Administrator.
Okay, didn't see you there. Okay, anybody else? Okay, I want to thank you very much for those introductions. And I would like to begin, I know this is not on the agenda, but before we do the pledge, I would like to have us stand for a moment of silence for our immediate past County Manager, Jesse Levine, who passed away a few days ago. Thank you. And I would like to, Representative Gottlieb would like to give a brief memory of Jesse Levine, so if you go ahead, please.
When Jesse was our county manager, we had a county convention, and it went off pretty smoothly. And at the end of it, I believe Ben Nelson and Jeff Barrett and myself and other members of the Finance Committee and the county manager all went to the airport, to the restaurant, right? Right. And we sat around by the great big fire pit with all the, the flames. And there might have been a margarita or two in the mix, but I can't really attest to that. And anyway, at one point, when we were all conversing and getting to know each other better, and really what had happened was sort of like over and done, Jessie leaned back in her chair and she said, "I can't believe this. This is the best thing. Here we are, the county manager and members from both sides of the delegation and the number of commissioners, and we're all sitting around here and we are just having a great time." And it was like, I've never forgotten her really joy at the fact that we had this just very positive experience. So
Thank you, Representative Gottlieb. And I just want to say one final thing, and Jessie Levine, passed away, but before she passed away, the governor signed into law an amended version of Senate Bill 28, which names the New London Roundabout for her. She lived in New London, and before she was our county manager, she was New London town manager, and Representative Karen Ebel, who's from New London, worked on that. And I want to appreciate all the delegation members who supported that bill, passed on the consent calendar. And I also want to thank the commissioners and county manager for signing a letter to my committee, the Public Works and Highways, and we helped get it through. So I just want to say that thank you very much. We worked well together, and I'm proud to say I learned from Representative Ebel that Jessie Levine knew the bill had become law a few days before she passed. So your hard work made a difference and made me feel good. So anyway, so we need to move on. So if we could, Representative Tanner, if you could please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Representative Tanner. I will now turn it over for the EFC presentation of the proposed fiscal year 2022 budget. And I know Representative Gottlieb, you going to start, or do you have somebody else lined up?
no, I'm going to.
Okay, good. I just wanted to be sure.
But I'll lean on my computer.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That this was not an individual endeavor, this was
Good.
a committee. Am I okay here?
Yes.
I don't have to go up there?
Just speak a little bit louder. I think you'll be fine.
Do I need to be closer
That's
to the
good.
microphone? Okay. All right. So the first thing I would like to,
You want to put up the slideshow?
pardon me?
Start the slideshow.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a slideshow too.
And you all have your copies, so I can't pull any surprises on you. Okay, well, I want to start with the one with the members of the EFC. Thank you. Shall I stand up?
Yeah, and I just want to say too, as we go through the presentation, if you could please hold off any questions until the end. I think that'd make it easier, in my opinion, so please proceed, Representative Gottlieb.
Thank you very much, Chair Cloutier. First of all, I would like to thank the members of the committee, Representative Tanner, Representative Spilsbury, Representative Aaron, and and Representative Merchant out there in the ether, and myself. I thought, although we did not come to one of my goals, which was a unanimous recommendation, we did come to a bipartisan recommendation, and I would say that I felt that the committee all along worked very hard, and that we had a good atmosphere. I'd also like to say thank you to the Dave Barry and to John Simons and to Ted back there. And let's see, who else came and...
Human Resources.
Pardon me?
Heather.
Oh,
from-
yeah, and Heather on Human Resources, who, when some of our newer members had questions, these folks came and they answered in detail the questions that we had, which were not necessarily that we were going to change the budget. It was just for more understanding of how they made up their budget and presented the figures to us. Okay. The members, we can do the next slide. Well, you can all read that. Our chair is John Cloutier. Our vice chair is Representative Sullivan. Our clerk is Representative O'Hearn. I am the EFC chair, and Linda Tanner is the EFC vice chair. And we're happy to have Representative Aaron, Representative Callum, Representative Merchant, Oxenham, Rollins, Smith, Spilsbury, and Walt Stapleton. And Walt, thank you for coming on our last afternoon of several hours. Okay. So on the next page. First of all, when I first opened the first meeting of the EFC, I said that I wanted to congratulate the commissioners for taking a budget that had over 17% increase down to 9.7 increase. And my challenge was whether the EFC could find any further way to help our taxpayers with getting our budget down and our tax increase a bit lower. The other goal we had was to have no disruption in current or county services. And it was very important to all members of the EFC that we support moving forward on a solution for the county home. Although I wanted to point out that our budget meetings were not a meeting on the project. Our budget meetings were to prepare a budget for the county. So not always easy to keep those things separate. And as a result, we included the commitment for an initial interest payment of potentially $600,000 in fiscal year 22 for the county nursing home project. The next one.
So the slide should have said fiscal year 22.
Well, it's for fiscal year 22, but
No questions. Just-
yeah, we'll have, that's a good question too. We'll answer at the end, okay? Because that's in there for fiscal year 22.
So the slide has an error on it, but
No,
this, okay.
no.
Okay, are you
Yes.
finished or something?
Yes.
Okay, so someone else will take over.
No.
No,
She's
no,
gonna-
no, no,
All right,
no.
please
Okay,
proceed.
okay. So how did we sort of fulfill our goal of following the lead of the commissioners? The first thing we did was the actual pro share was $2,130,375, but in the commissioner's budget there was only $2 million. So we felt it was highly appropriate to put the full amount of the pro share in the budget. Also, the county the county manager informed me that we could increase the ARPA funds from 100,000 to 300,000, and we were happy to do that. And in the initial May 10th handout that we had, the CARES and the Medicaid assessment funds were each $5,000 more than they appeared in the final budget, so we asked to put that $10,000 back. And then we increased the capital fund transfer from $100,000 to $700,000. This provides funds for an initial interest payment for nursing home bond, and it provides the funds to purchase and equip, as we promised, 2 vehicles for the county sheriff. There was a decrease in excess revenue in fiscal year 21, transferred to fiscal year 22. And the initial expectation and hope was that we would have a fiscal variance of $800,000, but the county manager told us that it would be wisdom to reduce that expectation to only $400,000. So we reduced that from $800,000 to $400,000. And so there was a net increase in revenue adjustments of $540,375. We're just waiting till it comes up on the big screen, even though I know you can all read it. We felt that we could delete the transfer of $200,000 to the Nursing Home Reserve Fund because the auditor's recommendation in 2020 was that the fund should have between $1 and $2 million in it. In other words, we need enough to cover 2 months of operations in case that should be needed. And it currently has more than it needs. It has $2.6 million in it. So we felt that that's part of the reason for that was that perhaps we would have a decrease in the census at the nursing home, but that decrease in census could not happen until construction and interference with the actual beds at the nursing home would begin. So to me, when we have a reserve fund and it's adequate and then it's taken out, after it's taken out, that's when we then go back and we replace it. So we felt that this was in good condition, and I did ask Ted that if you felt comfortable with that. Am I correct? And you were, and he was comfortable with that. So then I was more comfortable with it. We deleted an additional $60,000 transfer to the Capital Reserve Fund and retained the $60,000 in expense earmarked to make the Department of Corrections HVAC system, especially on a day like this next year, operate at its top manner. So again, I'm hoping that that will last us, do you think, 10 years? Right. So starting next year, we should begin replacing money into that fund of $4,000 so that when we have to buy a new one, we have the money ready to go. So the net decrease in expense adjustments was $260,000. Now this is the big numbers, but Dodie has put them all in and double-checked them and assured me that they work. So I think the commissioner's budget was $34,622,168. And the EFC budget was $34,362,168, which reflects that $260,000. Pardon me?
34 million. Millions.
Well, yes, there is a difference, isn't there? Where the decimal point goes is important. And then in revenues, the commissioners had 19,689,370, and the EFC bumped that up to 20,229,745, giving us a variance of 540,375, and overall an ability to decrease what we have to pay in taxes by $800,375. Not quite as good as the commissioners, but still, it was respectable. And where is, next page? Yeah, okay, so, next one.
This one.
Yeah. No,
We're looking at it right there. No, right here.
oh, you've got two on one page, okay. So, I think I'm not going to read those numbers of revenues and expenses, we already said them twice. The commissioners had a tax increase that would have resulted in a 9.7% increase. And the EFC budget has a tax increase of 3.88%. And the vote was 4-1 to recommend this budget to the delegation. Okay. So the EFC budget includes an increase in the budget of $636,288, a 1.9% increase over fiscal year '21. And the EFC budget reduces the tax increase by $800,375, reducing it from 9.76 to 3.88%. And the EFC budget makes a commitment to finding a way to yes by funding an interest payment on a bond for the nursing home. It may be used in this fiscal year, and if it is not, then it goes back into the undesignated fund balance, and then it's available to be put back into the reserves or to be used for the same purpose in fiscal year '23.
Thank you, Representative Goffman. Are there questions from the delegation about this presentation? Yes, Representative Smith, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I understood that we were getting like $8 million in federal money. Has any of that come in, and is it
I
reflected in the
believe
budget?
4.1. And some of that ARPA money is the 300,000, and which was the recommendation of the county manager to put that in.
Follow up, Mr.
Yes, please continue,
Thank
Representative.
you. How much is not reflected in the budget?
Subtract 300,000 from 4.1 million.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Further questions from the delegation, first of all? Yes, Representative Aaron, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So at the bottom of slide 3, I wanted to go back to that because at the bottom of slide 3, you had said in your presentation that the budget includes an initial interest payment on bond for the county nursing home project in fiscal year '23. Is that a typo, or do you mean fiscal year '22, or when? What is?
I would ask the other members of the committee what their understanding was, in particular, Representative Merchant, are you available? Our feeling was that if a decision is made and we don't wait for the next round of bond issue by the bond bank, but we go separately and individually, which has a high cost to it, that this could be used in fiscal year '22. But if we wait for the end of October for the January issuance of the bonds, then the interest payment would come in that June.
Okay, follow up, Mr.
Yes,
Chair?
please continue, Representative Aaron.
So, assuming that whatever intent is to go forward with a January 22 bond bank sale. Do you realize this means we'd need to authorize the county to obtain a new guaranteed maximum price
I believe-
immediately in order to meet that schedule?
I would defer to the
And-
facilities manager, but we have to get a new guaranteed minimum
We're
price
talking
anyway.
about the budget
And the
now.
cost for that is
Right,
not,
yeah.
follow
And
up, Mr. Chair.
Okay, yes, please continue.
Yeah, and so the cost for that is not, reflected anywhere in this budget to do that. If we were to, I mean, you said you've set aside 600,000 for whatever bond interest.
yes,
But we haven't set aside any monies for going ahead with getting any kind of new price on this project, which I understand would be upwards of $60,000.
I take your point.
Okay?
Further questions from the delegation about this presentation by the EFC? Are there any further questions from the delegation? Okay, yes, Representative Aaron, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And so another thing that I understand from this budget proposal is using the previously expired $680,000 bond towards tax relief this year means that any future borrowing for the nursing home renovation is going to have to account for a full payment amount. And this is likely going to result in double-digit tax increases next year. So does anybody think that that's going to be an issue?
I'm prepared to try and meet that challenge.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, any other questions from the delegation about this presentation? All right, before we vote, Commissioner Hebert, did you want to say anything? I know you talked and you had a statement you wanted on behalf of the commissioners. Okay.
I can stand up. First of all, I'd like to thank you for recognizing Jesse Levine. That was very appropriate. And I wish I could say we were going out for margaritas after, but I don't believe the camaraderie is as pleasant as it was a few years ago. These remarks are my own. I'm not putting this on any of the other commissioners. They're not exactly agreed upon by the entire board. I'm not sure if they are or not. I'm deeply concerned about this budget and its reckless disregard for the county's financial future because it will jeopardize our ability to upgrade the nursing home. But beyond this budget and the renovation project, what really concerns me is how political this process has become since the last election. In Sullivan County, we used to pride ourselves as elected officials because when it came to county government, we always put people ahead of politics. That has all changed since last November. Frankly, I am more than a bit skeptical when you say you are committed to finding a way forward on the nursing home project. Just because you put a line item in the budget does not mean you have any intention of following through. When it comes to words versus actions, I believe in actions. And I will believe it when I see it, because thus far, what I have seen has been disturbing, such as delegates who last September advocated for new construction in a new location, which would have been much more expensive just a few months later, suddenly opposed the original and much less expensive renovation that was designed. Commissioners not being recognized to speak at delegation or executive finance committee meetings. The lack of professional courtesy is something I have never seen in my time as a commissioner. But when it's politics ahead of people, I guess that's how the game is played. Delegates walking out in the middle of a presentation when county staff was answering the very questions they have been asked to clarify. Certainly, our staff deserves more respect than that. It's this lack of respect
lack of trust in the county staff, lack of understanding of the process we follow to develop this renovation design, and the elitist attitude of a privileged few who have unfortunately destroyed years of careful planning. These plans were developed by our previous manager, Jesse Levine, and carried forward by our current county team. So you can tell me all you want about your commitment to this project in this county. I will believe it when I see it. I urge the delegation to not vote for the EFC recommended budget. Had the commissioners been able to actively participate in the EFC's meeting last week, we could probably come up with a compromise and limited the tax increase we proposed without creating massive tax increase if and when the nursing home project is approved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Representative Tanner, please.
I would say that I was there for all the EFC meetings, and each time the commissioner showed up, whether it was Commissioner Osgood, Commissioner Hebert, or Commissioner Nelson, they were allowed to speak and were part of the meeting. So I just want to put that straight.
I would like to
All right.
confirm that observation unequivocally.
All right, okay, so I don't want to, and I know we have some strong feelings, but I think it's good to get it, out in the open, but I just think it's time to move on. We first need to approve a budget, and then we're gonna go back to the nursing home. And I think we're trying, as Representative Gott, to find a way to yes on the nursing home, but it's not gonna be easy, and I'm committed to doing that, and I will do everything I can, and we'll see what we go, but I think we're gonna have to work on it and hopefully come to some sort of compromise agreement. Okay, yes, I'm ready for a motion on the budget unless there's further questions. Yes, Representative Aaron, please.
I'll do the motion.
Okay, the motion, yeah, okay, go ahead, please, Representative Sullivan.
I move that we accept the recommendation of the EFC on the county budget.
Okay, do I have a second on that motion? Okay, a second by Representative Tanner. So a motion by Representative Sullivan, a second by Representative Tanner to accept the county as recommended by the EFC. Now, do we have the language? I think there's language, the total appropriation and amount to be raised in taxes. Does the clerk have that? I think we're... Yeah.
I didn't take it.
Okay, we can fill in the paperwork, I think. Okay. So does everybody understand the motion that is before us? Any questions? Yes, Representative Aaron, please.
Allowed discussion?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I just want to be on the record, I will be voting no on these proposed changes to the Commissioner's budget proposal that were recommended by the Executive Finance Committee. And while as a rule, I'm totally in favor of tax cuts instead of tax increases, but I'm also a realist and I understand the financial implications of this proposed EFC budget and its impact into 2022 and beyond. This proposed budget, I feel, is short-sighted and frankly irresponsible. First and foremost, I'm entirely disgusted and disappointed at the lack of movement, planning, and commitment to the much-needed Sullivan County Nursing Home renovation project by this body. We've already spent well over $1 million in county tax dollars on architectural plans, which are ready to be acted upon. This delegation has, since this past November's election, done nothing to move this plan forward. We missed the April bond market and have already passed the dates for which our guaranteed maximum price for this project was valid. That last price tag was for $54 million. And as inflation hits, interest rates and construction costs rise, and contractor availability evaporates, we sit here as a body and do nothing. And our proposed budget shows further inaction, kicking the can down the road with no plan. Sure, we can dig into capital reserves and maybe come up with a bond interest payment in 2022, but what else do we have to show for the nursing home renovation to our constituents? Nothing. When will we begin it? There's no plan for that. It's almost certain no shovel will get into the ground before 2023 at this rate. And what is certain is that we'll have to go out and likely spend another $60,000 for another guess at what the price of this project will cost. And that exercise may cost us another 3 months' time as well. And meanwhile, our infrastructure degrades, putting us and our constituents at risk for paying for extensive infrastructure failures and possibly even exposing employees and residents at our facility to injury as a result of those infrastructure failures. And when will we begin to see loss of employee headcounts and nursing home resident headcounts because no one will want to work or live there within the next 2 to 3 years? Are we preparing for those losses? No. I'm shocked that this body is dragging its feet on this. And nonetheless, with regard to this budget, we're not making any financial preparations, and we're spending money from our one-time COVID money, ARPA funds, and other capital reserve funds instead of putting that money aside. We should be putting as much money away as we can to mitigate the increased cost that this project is likely to realize, as well as the increased expenses of fixing whatever breaks between now and the time we can move people to completed parts of the facility. Yeah, we can be heroes and lower the commissioner's proposed tax rate by using funds we've been earmarking for projects in capital reserves or by using one-time money from federal government and other sources. But this is surely going to come back to bite us in the next 2 county budgets, which will invariably cause double-digit tax increases to the county tax rate for fiscal year 2023. And because those one-time monies will be gone and no longer at our disposal to save us from these tax increases next year or the year after, at some time, if this body ever actually decides to proceed with this project.
Okay, Representative Aaron, yes, you have a point of order?
This is a discussion, not a speech time. And
I will finish up, Representative O'Hearn, thank you. At some time, if this body ever decides to proceed with this project, we'll have an even more expensive project, and we'll have to bond for even more money. So I'm a solid no on this budget proposal, and I also believe we need to get a new price for this project as soon as possible, and then start this project right away. I believe the Commissioner's budget proposal will give us the financial means to do those things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Representative Aaron. Anybody want to respond on the opposite side? Okay, all right.
Shame on these people.
Yes, Representative Spilsbury, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a yes vote tonight, and I encourage my colleagues to vote yes. The motion on the table is an operating budget for the county for fiscal year 22. Whatever we think about the dynamics in our April meeting, we came to an impasse, and the nursing home is not before us tonight. So I take at their word the goodwill of my colleagues with whom I discussed this in the EFC, and I don't doubt that there is a will to get something done. But if the political will is not there in the current form at this moment to get it done in FY22, it's pointless to vote no on an operating budget that does nothing to detract from the nursing home. They're not in competition. This budget and the adjustments recommended by the EFC simply take account of where we actually are, what we will spend in FY22, and what we won't spend in FY22. There is no sound reason to vote against this budget.
Thank you, Representative Spilsbury. Yes, Representative Sullivan, please.
Just briefly, I'd like to commend the EFC. I made the motion to accept the EFC's recommendation, and what happened to the budget at the hands of the EFC was that they managed to make some reductions in the budget without reducing any programs, any people, or any essentials to the county. So I think it's a responsible budget. I attended 2 of the 3 EFC meetings, the 2 I could, and I believe that they've done a fine job. I plan to support it. the EFC budget.
All right, okay. Thank you, Representative Sullivan. Any further questions or comments? Are we ready for the vote? Okay, so when you're ready for the vote, as I said, I will ask the clerk now to please call the roll. If you're in favor of the motion to adopt the budget, you will vote yes. If you're opposed, you will vote no, please. Go ahead, please, Representative O'Hearn.
Representative Aaron.
No.
Representative Callum.
No.
Representative Gottling. Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Oxingham.
Yes.
Representative Rollins.
No.
Representative Smith.
No.
Representative Spilsberg.
Yes.
Representative Stapleton.
No.
Representative Tanner.
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan.
Yes.
And the chair.
Yes.
Eight yeses, 5 noes.
Okay, the motion passes. The budget is adopted. Thank you. Okay, we'll now go on to the next item. Okay, just a minute, I don't have the agenda in front of me.
Authorize RSA.
Okay, sorry, I don't.
2415.
Okay, yes, it's authorized under RSA 24:15, or exceeding appropriations. I will entertain a motion to accept that motion. Thank you again, Representative Gottlieb. I know you have a family issue to deal with. Yeah. So I will entertain a motion. This is a pretty standard to,
I'll do it.
okay. You make the motion? Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Representative O'Hearn, you made the motion. Do I have a second on that motion? I'll second the motion. All right. Thank you very much, Representative Oxingham. A motion by Representative O'Hearn, a second by Representative Oxingham to author, just a minute. Okay, I've got the wording in front of me. Pursuant to RSA 214:14 and 24:15, in the event the amount appropriated for a specific purpose will not be issued in whole or in part for such purpose, and Representative O'Hearn moved, I authorize the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners to use such amount to augment other appropriations, if necessary, provided that the total payments for all purposes do not exceed the total sum of fiscal year 2022 appropriations approved by this county convention, and provided that each sum shall not exceed $15,000 without approval from the Executive Finance Committee. So that is the motion. I'm sorry, I couldn't find the sheet at first. Does everybody understand what we're voting on? Any questions? Well, okay. Discussion? Okay, I will call for a vote. Do we want this voice vote or roll call?
We have to do a roll call.
You do have to do, okay, all right, go ahead. Yeah, okay, with the people on Zoom, do a roll call. Thank you, Representative O'Hearn.
Representative Aaron's left. Representative Callum. Representative Gottling. Oh.
Yeah, she left.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, okay, do we want me to reread the motion, Representative Aaron? All right, pursuant to New Hampshire RSA's 24:14 and 24:15, in the event that an amount appropriated for a specific purpose will not be used in whole or in part for such purpose, I move to authorize the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners to use such amount to augment other appropriations if necessary, provided the total payments for all purposes do not exceed the total sum of fiscal year 2022 appropriations approved by this county convention, and provided that each sum shall not exceed $15,000 without approval from the Executive Finance Committee. Everybody clear on the motion now, what we're voting on?
So as I understand it, the authorization is capped at $15,000?
Yeah, they shall not exceed, exceed $15,000. That's the motion. Okay? Any other questions? Thank you, Representative Spilsbury.
And I'll apologize to Representative Aaron. I thought somebody left and I just realized it was Representative Gottling. Representative Aaron.
My vote is yes.
Yes.
Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Clerk will vote yes. Representative Oxingham.
Yes.
Representative Rollins.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Spilsbury. Representative Stapleton.
Yes.
Representative Tanner.
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan.
Yeah, yes.
And the clerk?
Yes, I'm sorry, I guess that was you, the chair. Yeah, I vote yes.
Twelve votes yes, no noes.
Okay, what was the result of the vote again, please?
12 yeses and no noes.
No, no, it's, okay, the motion carries, thank you. Next item, motion to authorize acceptance and expenditures of unanticipated funds. Do I have a, I don't know if you have the sheet in front of you. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you, Representative Smith. And do you have a sheet in front of you I can
Does now.
share? All
I
right.
do.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Representative Tanner. Go ahead, please, Representative Smith, if you want to read
Pursuant to
that.
New Hampshire RSA 2414, I move to authorize the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners to apply for, receive, and expend federal and/or state grants and/or other unanticipated funds that become available during the course of fiscal year '22, and also to accept and expend funds from any other governmental unit or private source to be used for purposes for which Sullivan County may legally appropriate money, and the expenditure of such funds shall be exempt from restrictions on over expenditures of appropriations.
All right, thank you, Representative Smith. So there's a motion by Representative Smith, a second by Representative Tanner to approve this motion as read by Representative Smith. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, please, Representative Merchant.
does that exclude or include the ARPA money, the 3.8 million that's coming in this year plus 4.1 million next year?
I believe, I don't know if anyone can help me, the county man, I believe the ARPA money, the first half has already come in, but if it comes in, the second half comes in for the next fiscal year, yeah, this would allow the county commissioners to receive those funds and expend them. That's my understanding, and maybe the county, or someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, Manager Furlan, please.
Mr. Chair, we could receive them, but expending them would require a supplemental appropriation. We have to come back for delegation approval. This
Okay.
motion allows us to accept them, because it's not a grant, it's direct aid, so.
Okay,
we do
so
have
it
to
wouldn't
ask for
cover
them.
the ARPA money, is that what you?
The ARPA money's fine.
Fine, the ARPA money's fine, but it covers everything else basically, right, from the?
These cover the grants, and the ARPA is not a grant per se.
Okay, all right, thank you, Manager Furlan. Does that answer your question, Representative Merchant?
It does. I would feel more comfortable if we actually put in the language that it does exclude money coming in from ARPA, but given what Commissioner Furlan, County Manager Furlan said, I can live with it.
Okay, all right, thank you, Representative Merchant. Okay, are we ready for the vote on this motion? All right, the clerk will please call the roll on this motion.
Representative Aaron.
Sorry? Yes.
Representative Callum.
Yes.
Representative Gottling. Oh, sorry. Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Gotta look up when I do this. Representative O'Hearn, yes. Representative Oxingham.
Yes.
Representative Rollins.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Representative Stapleton.
Yes.
Representative Tanner.
Yes.
Representative Sullivan.
Yes.
And the chair votes.
Yes,
12 and no noes.
the motion carries. All right, okay, the next item, I think according to the agenda, is, all right, minutes, review and approve draft meeting minutes, starting with the April 13th, 2021 public hearing minutes of the delegation. I don't know, hopefully everybody's had a chance to look those over. I will entertain a motion to accept those public hearing minutes, please.
Inquiry of the chair.
Yes, you'll make that motion?
No, he's inquiry.
Inquiry of the chair?
Yes, go ahead, please, Representative Smith.
Because we have remote members, everything has to be a roll call vote.
Okay.
Could we have a motion to accept all three of the full delegation meeting minutes in one? Is that?
I don't see why not. We couldn't. I would entertain that motion, a block, and then do a roll call vote. Yes, Representative O'Hearn.
It's my understanding that the June 15th are not in written form, so I don't think we can vote on those tonight. And I don't have a problem with the 13 and the 26. Apparently, there was no feedback on the 26, but it's up to the delegation if they want to approve those minutes as presented.
So I don't know, we could do a block for the April 13th and 26th meeting. Is that what you're saying, Representative O'Hearn?
Yes.
Okay. Would you do that, Representative Smith?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second on Representative Smith's motion? Second by Representative Tanner. Okay, are we ready for a vote on this motion?
No, I'm still waiting.
Okay, yeah, go, I'm sorry. Whenever you're ready, Representative O'Hearn. I don't mean to rush you.
The supplemental appropriation for bionic arm for it.
Right, yeah.
And who seconded it?
Representative Tanner. Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Representative Aaron.
Yes.
Representative Callum.
Yes.
See, I can say that.
Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Oxingham.
Yes.
Representative Rollins.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Representative Stapleton.
Yes.
Representative Tanner.
Yes.
Representative Sullivan.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
12 and no nos. Passes.
All right, okay. All right, now the EFC, Representative Gottlieb, I know she's not here anymore, asked permission for us, I mean, it would just be EFC members to approve the minutes for the EFC of June 21st, 23rd, and 25th. I don't know, someone want to make, who's on the EFC to motion and second, and then it's up to you guys, and we'll be silent.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we accept those minutes, please.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, a motion by Representative Tanner, a second by Representative Aaron to accept, and this will be, it has to be a roll call vote of the EFC, right, Representative
Yeah, but
O'Hearn?
would I take that? Because it's the EFC's minutes?
You're still with us.
It's up to you, you could
I can-
probably,
I can take
you're
it.
an ex officio member. So is it all right, we do a block vote? Okay, so we're ready for the vote. Okay, go ahead, just the EFC members, I guess there's 4 of them left.
Okay. Representative Aaron.
Yes. Especially the minutes of the 21st.
Pillsbury?
Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Representative Tanner.
Yes.
Representative Merchant.
Yes. Yes.
No? 4 votes yes.
Okay, good, so I rule the motion, all these minutes of the EFC are approved. Thank
You
you.
don't have to do it 6 times.
All right, I'm going to, for a minute, skip over because Registrar Janet Gibson is here, and I know she's been patiently waiting, so I'd like to have her explain to the delegation her request about equipment account withdrawal. Okay, welcome, Registrar Gibson, and thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yay,
I
Janet.
am here requesting the delegation's approval to withdraw $16,228 out of the Registry of Deeds equipment account under RSA 478-17K. The funds will be used for $1,200 to continue our storage of microfilm at the City of Keene, $3,686 to microfilm our current records of this fiscal year, $500 just to estimate, because these are estimated numbers, we could have more pages come through than we're expecting, $10,000 if it's needed for our fiddler contract, and $842 for a desk riser for our handicap station. You know, we do find that sometimes, you know, if somebody's in a wheelchair or different circumstances, if we had an adjustable desk for them, they could search a whole lot easier. And that is it. And right now, the balance in the account is $151,753.65 as of May 30th.
Okay, thank you. I assume all delegation members have the written information that the registrar has provided us, as well as the state law that authorized us to do this. All right. Yes, yes, Representative Tanner, please.
This proposal?
Okay, yes.
Get that
Motion by
money to
Representative Tanner. Do I have a second? Second by Representative Aaron. We all understand the motion? Any further questions? I'm sorry, Representative Sullivan, please.
You mentioned that this covers estimated film and storage of $500. What if the estimate is low?
We never know how much we're going to be moving in and out of there, and there is additional charges if we move a box in or out. just in case it goes, we have to move some boxes. If we have if the internet we got ransomware and we had to get the microfilm out, we would have to pay to take those boxes out. We have not used it. I ask for that money every year, and we have not used it yet.
That answer your question, Representative. So further questions from the delegation of Registrar Gibson? Further questions, I will, yes, I'm sorry, Representative Spilsbury.
I understand correctly that we're merely being asked to authorize a withdrawal of $16,228, or are we also authorizing a surcharge to be imposed?
That is already imposed. That is where this account bills from. We collect a $2 surcharge per document we
So that is
report.
unchanged, and we're purely...
And this is not affecting taxpayers in any way. It's coming right out of our savings account that we get from the surcharge.
Thank you. Further questions? Seeing none, I will, you made the motion, Representative Tanner, and again, who made the second? Representative Aaron, I'm sorry. Okay, so whenever the clerk is ready, the clerk will please call the roll on this motion.
Representative Aaron.
Yes.
Representative McCallum.
Yes.
Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Oxingham.
Yes.
Representative Rollins.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Representative Stapleton.
Yes.
Representative Tanner.
Yes.
Representative Sullivan.
Yes.
Chair votes
Yes.
12, no nos. Passes.
All right, yeah, motion carries. All right, next item, and I think I'll call on the county manager. So about a non-capital reserve fund authorization for Sullivan House. Manager Furlan, please.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Everybody has a copy of the RSA in their packets. This was a new reserve fund that we would propose to allow us to address the maintenance and operation costs associated with Sullivan House when it is completed later this year. These funds will primarily be non-appropriated funds collected through the rents that will be required for the people that live there. And with those rents, we will pay things like the utility bills and the minor maintenance and other upkeep associated with that facility. Therefore, keeping it not a taxpayer burden because we'll be using the money that we collect. We'll also use this fund to deposit proceeds from the opioid opioid lawsuit. Through legislation that was approved last year, the state of New Hampshire has a trust, and as the state of New Hampshire collects monies that are processed by the trust, when we get the share that's due to the county, this fund would be the place we would deposit those funds. We already have, a couple months ago, we got the first check for a little over $9,000. McKinsey, one of the opioid distributing companies, settled, and so that was our share, which was distributed in accordance with the language in the trust. So that's the purpose of this fund. It would allow us to sustain that facility without it coming off the backs of our taxpayers.
Okay, thank you. Questions of the county manager from the Democrat, Sullivan, please.
If this fund, I hope it will need it for a while, but it's pretty huge. Is there anything else we can do with this money other than put it into that building?
Well, I don't know if it'll get huge. Part of the, one of the arrangements with the New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority loan is that 50% of, if we ever turn a profit, up to 50% of those gross proceeds will actually be required to be remitted to the New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority. So we will set aside and build that into our budget as far as what gets deposited in this as, in terms of reserves. Some of those will be used to pay ongoing monthly bills. Some of those will be to pay the unexpected facility issues that pop up. If it ever does grow to whatever the delegation and the commissioners feel to be an unacceptable level, I think that's a discussion that could be had at that time. But I suspect that would take years before that would grow to whatever that number
Okay,
is.
yes, please continue, Representative Sullivan.
I'm going to go the other direction. What if it doesn't grow fast enough and the building needs work and there's not sufficient money in the capital reserve fund?
Well, that would be another decision point that we may have to come back to the delegation and ask for an appropriation to augment it. We set it up with a $500 a month amount that would be set aside for capital, for future capital. So that would be, quick math in public, about $6,000 a year. So in 10 years, that theoretically should have $60,000 built up into it. This building's been completely renovated. I'm not sure what the first thing to fail will be, nor how much it will cost. But I'd like to think that that kind of aggressive, proactive strategy would ensure that there's enough money in that fund should when the time comes to draw down from it. In addition to like I said, the monthly utility costs are going to be set aside as well. So these funds, because they're not appropriated, I think it's appropriate to capture them in a separate fund. This will be audited every year. There's a single audit requirement that's part of that NIFA language pertaining to the loan that they gave us. So there will be a lot of eyeballs in this every year, and then we can continue to monitor it and check in as appropriate and make course corrections if those are deemed necessary.
Okay, thank you, Representative Sullivan, Manager Furlan. Any further questions of the county manager from the delegation on this request? Are we ready for the vote on this item? Do I have a motion? Okay, thank you, Representative Tanner. Do I have a second on this motion? Second by Representative Sullivan. Are we ready for the vote? The clerk, whenever the clerk is ready, will please call the roll on this motion.
Representative Aaron.
Yes.
Representative Callum.
Yes.
Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Oxingham.
Yes.
Representative Rollins.
Yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Representative Stapleton.
Yes.
Representative Tanner.
Yes.
Representative Sullivan.
Yes.
The chair.
Yes.
12-0.
0,
Passes.
okay, the motion carries, thank you. All right, let me see here, okay, okay, so the next thing is that we've approved the county budget tonight, but now we do have to, as we are mandated by state law, to meet within 30 days, and so it is now June 29th, so according to my calendar, it's roughly, we've got until about July 28th to have a meeting. Now, normally, we'd have these meetings, and if that's the only item on the agenda, it usually takes just 5 minutes, okay? And I'd probably have it during the day. But in light of the comments and concerns about the nursing home, I'm willing to have a special meeting, and we can discuss this further, our concerns, and maybe a path to move forward. So I would like to do that. So I don't know what people's schedules are. I know later in July is good for, a lot of, I was thinking sometime between July 23rd and 28th, and give us a chance to take a break and enjoy the summer a little bit, because I know we've had a busy session as reps. So I don't know, does anybody have a conflict and dates that are bad for them between July 23rd and 28th? And if we're going to discuss the nursing home, I probably want to have it in the evening about this same time, either in Claremont, or maybe we could have it at the Lou Thompson Room or someplace else.
Someplace for their conditioning.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point, Representative Smith, because I know we have some strong opinions on the nursing home, and that's fine, but I'm conscious of it. I see both sides, and I want to do something, but I want to do something that hopefully our taxpayers can afford. But I don't want to belabor that point this evening. So I don't know, between July 23rd and 28th, is there a good date, a date that's good for practically everybody?
I propose 6 o'clock, Monday, July 26th.
July 26th? Okay, how
I'll
is
second
that? I will throw that, yes, Representative Merchant.
I will second that.
Okay, you see it's okay with you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How about everybody else? I know Representative Gottlieb is not here, but I think she'll be back. She has a wedding of a grandchild, so she will be gone until about the 23rd. Is that okay for everybody?
Yes.
Monday, okay, is okay with you, Representative O'Hearn?
No, but the majority.
I think the only other thing is that Representative Gottlieb is also a selectman in Sunapee, and they
Okay,
meet
so
on Monday.
Mondays are sort of bad for her.
Yeah, Tuesday's a much better day, I think.
How about would Tuesday, July 27th be? And I think it'd be better for Representative O'Hearn. Is there any objection?
Is that okay?
And if we could, I work with the county manager to set up a site either here, or we could do it at the Lou Thompson Room. Preferably, I think, someplace that has good audio and Zoom.
Well, that could be determined by you.
Yeah, okay, and I'll work with the county manager on that.
Okay.
So we will plan tentatively for Tuesday, July 28th at 6 p.m. We will vote on the minutes first, and then my intention is to have a discussion again about the nursing home and see if there's a path to move forward.
It's the 27th.
What was the date again? The
Tuesday, July 27th.
Oh, okay.
Is that, again, okay with everybody? I know we're all, either busy or hopefully we'll be taking a break. And
Yeah.
yeah, 6 p.m. Is that all right with the commissioners? Because yes, you'll come and attend. If it's a okay, so Tuesday, July 27th at 6 p.m., all right? So we will schedule that meeting for then, and hopefully we'll get a little business done. And anything else that the county manager, has, fine, feel free to bring it to my attention and I'll put it on the agenda. Okay, unless there's any other one other thing on, any other old business? Okay, under new business, I want to, on behalf of the delegation, I want to thank the Sugar River Valley Regional Technical Center for the use of this room, and CCTV, Executive Director Joshua Nelson for broadcasting this meeting via Claremont Community Television, better known as CCTV. So unless anybody has anything else, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Representative Hearn.
Second.
Second by Representative Rollins. All those in favor signify by saying
Roll
aye.
call.
I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry, Representative Oren reminded me because of Zoom, we got to do a roll call, I'm sorry.
May I make a suggestion,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Try saying without objection, the meeting is adjourned.
okay. All right, okay.
Oh, I'll do that.
All right, do we want to do, is that okay?
You just do it.
All right, yeah, and without objection, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, Representative Smith, I'm glad I got